I don't often see aerobic conditioning on that level from amateur riders. You have the physical attributes of professional riders, and I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass here. I'm saying that is superb.
Greetings to the video. Today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I went from struggling to ride 20k, literally struggling to ride 20k, to now where I am, where I feel like the fittest I've ever felt in my life. And I want to share that with you. And this has come after my hardest ever session, I guess, and something that I never thought I'd be able to do, which was, it was a brutal session. It was like 3 hours on Zwift. That's what Mark, my coach, is referring to. It was basically 2 hours solid in tempo. And tempo is like a training zone range, which for me is between 210 and 240 watts. And I did that for an hour, and then I had a 5-minute spin in the middle of that, and then I did another full hour in that range. And I'm not sharing that and talking to you about it to be like, oh, look at me. It's because I genuinely never thought that I would be able, in a million years, think that I would ever be that fit, because I was always the last in any club ride, the last up every climb. I was 100 kilos, like everything felt hard. And I want to share some things that I've learned, some tools that I've used that have really helped increase my fitness, because I want you to feel the same as I do, because I just feel amazing from it, and everyone can get fitter. I got a bike in 2014, started riding it around the block basically, to my friends, to my round to my parents, round to my grandma's. It wasn't that big of a thing. It was just kind of like getting into it. And then I joined a club, and then I joined Strava, and I think that was like a huge turning point for me, because it gave me a lot of motivation, a lot of encouragement, and it physically helped me find. I moved to Manchester and I had nowhere to ride, and I did the segment Explore on there and found all these amazing climbs and amazing places. And so that was like a big thing for me to improve my fitness from that. And I was able to then find climbs, and I kind of went back to one particular climb, Dove Stones, I'm sure you know, to try and get a quicker time, and that really increased my fitness. And then I started doing longer club rides, and then I started doing Audaxes, and Audaxes are long distance riding, and then I got a coach, and that's Mark. And the main thing that I can tell you now is consistency. That is the biggest thing that you can do, is consistency, and then also following some kind of training plan. I'm going to share some of the things with you now so you can actually see how I track my progress, and also the things that keep me motivated. Also, I'm going to add as well that when I got Strava, I think I used it for maybe a year, and I found it, just the value that I got from it, genuinely just amazing. And at that time, you could pay extra for extra features. I didn't want any of those features, but I paid it anyway, because I just loved the value that I was getting from Strava. I felt like it really did improve my riding. And it might not be the same for you, but for me, it definitely was a huge motivator for me. And now I'm very lucky that, I don't know, it's just nice it's come full circle, because now Strava sponsored me. So this is a sponsored video from Strava. And I'm just sharing some of the things that I have just used over the years that I find really helpful. And so now we're going to look at fitness and freshness. This is a great way of looking at your overall fitness level over, a set period of time. I'm going to explain what the numbers mean, because you might be like, oh my God, what does this all mean? So basically, fitness means fitness. How fit are you? Fatigue is how fatigued you are. I've turned that off. I'm going to turn them all on so you can see. And then form, I guess form would be more like how fresh you are. If you've had a couple of days off riding, you're going to feel fresher. And I think the secret of building fitness is keeping all these three things happy, because to build fitness, you could literally just ride your bike every single day for 10 days straight, 20 days straight, and your fitness number would improve. However, your fatigue and your form would drop, which means you're going to burn out. And so you want to try and keep them all happy. But I'm just going to show you just for me, I'm going to turn those off just so you can see fitness. So I've got it set for all time, and I've got power and relative effort. So, and that's the thing, I think that's what I would take from this is great, and like I think it is good to look at numbers, but you want to look at the overall trend. Like, don't worry about numbers every day. Look at the overall trend. So, and they're always going to be peaks and troughs. You want peaks and troughs because you want to be able to train and then recover, train and then recover, but you want that graph or that trend to be going upwards. So you can see over time, each year my peak fitness level is increased, apart from 2019. Forget 2019. I didn't really do that much training that year, and I don't know, that's an anomaly. On the whole though, it is going up. So because now we are at, we're just gonna go into like riding, I guess the exciting like summer riding season. I'm aiming that my fitness will peak. And so you'll see another peak of the graph there. Hopefully I'll do another video, maybe later this year to show that. And then that's kind of what I'm aiming for. So that's a really interesting, I think, way to track your fitness over time. And I think it's a really good motivator because if you, for example, I don't know, if you can see your fitness improving, that's like a really good motivator. Or equally, if it's dropping, you're like, should probably try and get back on this fitness wagon. So now you can track like your progress. How can you actually build your fitness? Maybe I should have done that the other way around. Anyway, what you can do. The first thing is being really clear on what your goal is. So do you want to ride endurance? Do you want to ride races? Do you want to do like crits? Do you want to just be faster like with your club ride? You need to be specific about what you want to improve on, because I think from the off, I think a lot of people just start by just smashing out loads of hard rides or loads of hard intervals. And it's like, well, that's no good if you want to do an endurance ride doing really high wattage intervals. There's no point. So that's the first thing, be clear on what you want to do. The second thing is you need a way to kind of train. So it's all right just going out riding your bike or just kind of smashing it. But I do think having a heart rate monitor or a power meter is invaluable. I personally prefer a power meter because it's kind of objective, whereas heart rate can kind of fluctuate on other conditions. So yeah, that's really important, I think, is having a way of measuring your numbers. And I think that was the thing for me. I had a power meter from quite early on, and you want to be able to look at, I know you're going to hate me when I say this, FTP. So FTP is called functional threshold power, and it's basically a 20-minute effort. And that's where like your training zones come from. So you'll do your 20-minute effort, you'll take 95% of that number, which then becomes your FTP. And there's loads of different calculators online. You can kind of work out your like watt ranges and things, and then you can follow a training plan. And so Strava have training plans. You can get a coach. I mean, there's Mark, like I've had Mark and he's been my coach for years, or you can get some stuff online. But I think it's very important to follow something that's structured, because again, at the start, I just go on and do loads of hard interval sessions, and actually that's not really, it's not going to help build fitness if it's not kind of tailored to what you want to do. And so once you've got that 20-minute effort, you are going to need a power meter to be able to do that, but you could do it on Zwift, you can do it outside if you've got a power meter. So another good thing that I really like on Strava is Power Curve, and this shows like your best ever power for different time periods. So you've got a second, 15 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, and then 20 minutes. And this is like tracked for all time. So you've got all of 21, basically any year that you've got. So for me, I really like looking back and comparing, like, have I got fitter? Equally, I should add, my FTP, I don't think it's actually increased. However, my weight has dropped, which means my watts per kilo is higher. So I am fitter, even though the numbers haven't gone up, if that makes sense. So currently, my 20-minute power, my FTP, is 276, my 20-minute power, which I think means my FTP is 262. You'll see, like in that 2019, there's a dip, and that was because I wasn't consistent. There was a lot going on and my training wasn't consistent, whereas every other year around that, I have been consistent, and that's why there's like a general trend of upward fitness, if that makes sense. And I would say that if you are wanting to get fitter, just agree just to like commit to doing 2 sessions a week. You don't need to do something every single day. And I think that was where I went wrong when I first, looked into training. I was like, I'm just gonna train every day. I wanna get as fit as I can. And you can't keep that up. And then you do too much and then you burn out and then you need to take time off. Whereas actually you would have got fitted by just committing to those 2 sessions a week and doing it for a year. Like that will get you fitter than smashing out 5 sessions a week for 2 months and having to have a month off, then coming back into it. So just be consistent, but equally be patient, because the adaptations, I guess for me anyway, they're just very small each time, but over a period of time, they amount to big increases in fitness. And the last thing, and this is like one of the most fun things, I want to show you mine actually, because I love this, is be grateful of where you've come from and like praise yourself. This is one of my favorite things on Strava. And if you go on training and you go on training log, this is basically logging your weeks. I look back at some of my earliest things on Strava and there's literally like odd little bits here and there. Like I did an 11K ride and I'm like, what, good on me. And I remember being so proud about it. I was like, oh my God, I rode 11K. Or like this one, I rode 21K. Like, I think that's really, really nice to have that and to look back on. And again, like this is public or private. You can make this private if you want, mine's public. So feel free to go and have a look. And I also get a lot of questions saying, how much do you train a week? How much do you ride a week? Everything I do is on Strava. Have a look, everything is on there. So I guess the main take home from this is, I'll give you a couple of things. So one is being consistent and just having a plan. And you can use heart rate, you can use power meter, you can use either. You don't have to have everything. You could just use a heart rate monitor if you want, but be consistent with your training. And then the other thing is having it up here, because I think like that is like your mind is so powerful, and I think that kind of ties back with that, that ride that I did that I found so hard, like this week, like the big one. A lot of that was mental and knowing that you can do it. I've actually got, in fact, I'm going to share something with you now. I've got this stuck on my wall, and I have it when I'm on Zwift or when I'm doing a training session. It says, your body can stand almost anything, it's your mind you have to convince. And I think that if you think that you can do something, like that's getting you half the way there, your body's just gonna follow. So know that you are gonna get fitter, know that you can do it, know that you can like push yourself on rides. I still get scared on big rides, and I teach myself to remember, yeah, but you did this ride. You've got that fitness level. Your body's fit enough to do it. I'm gonna say thank you again to Strava for, and this is genuine, like having such a great platform to encourage and motivate me, and having features like that there is so much data on there that like it's phenomenal that I can look back and see all that and see like my progress. And so it's good for that as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next video. Before anyone else says it, I know I'm not a pro. I wouldn't even stand a chance in any kind of pro race of any kind, but just I'd add that in there before anyone tells me. I'm not delusional. I know I'm not a pro.